Hey guys, today's video is sponsored by Bespoke. So Bespoke offers a box a month. You can pick what you want. We have the carnivore, which I'm a big fan of this right here. I've always wanted one of these. I'm a big meat guy here. You know, Laz.
Along with all your smoked stuff.
So not only do we get the meat cleaver, we also got some American barbecue rub. So each of these boxes has about a $70 value, but they only cost you $45. Only cut some steak. Yeah, that was pretty effortless, right? What I also really like about this is that 90% of their products are sourced from small businesses, and many of them are right here in the United States. Juan, you hungry? I got a third for you. Laz, you hungry? Still hungry? Pretty impressive. Voila, bite-sized snacks. This one is my personal favorite. I've always wanted a hatchet to throw. And what better place than right here? This is called the Split, and this is a really nice hatchet. So they even have a little bird call. What kind of boxes should we send you? Barware and mixology? Yes, very interested. Each month you get a box based on the quiz that you took when you signed up. For each ship, you'll get a preview of what's inside. If you like, you can keep it, swap it for a different box, or skip the month entirely. You only pay for what you want. To get 20% off your first box, enter Fasterproms 20 in the link in the description. Welcome back to Fasterproms YouTube channel. It's been a while, guys. Had some major problems here. I actually lost like 7 videos worth of footage. That's like almost a month's worth. But today we got some FL2k prep, so I want to take you guys along for that. So we got some old school and some new school, and let's go check out what we got going on in the shop. So we got this AMC right here. This thing's got a Crate LS3 motor in it. I absolutely love the side pipes. Said he hit a plastic bag right there. I hate that. That's got to be like one of the worst things ever. Interior is very nice. All right, one of the coolest things that I like about this is that it is a manual. We had a couple things wrong that we needed to fix. A couple little tweaks that we're going to do on this LS3 in order to get it really working well. So a lot of times people want to run the PCV system in a certain way, but it has the design circuitry. So this was set up here. So this is drawing air that has not been seen and calculated by the MAF. We're going to go ahead and put it right here. This is also a cover on the LS3 intake manifold, and we want to get rid of that because it keeps a lot of heat in there and will cause it to lose a little bit of power just based on heat. And we're going to port the throttle body. Those 3 things really going to help out the performance on this a lot more. Now, this guy's trying to go to FL2k. This is a pretty nasty setup right here. And this car is really closely set up to how Ben's car is. It does not have the inner chiller, but it does have methanol, 1 to 2mm throttle body, ported blower, nice exhaust system, and we're actually getting ready to put some thermal plates in. That's gonna space the blower in between the heads and the blower. And it's gonna shed a bunch of heat off of that blower and help make that thing a lot more efficient. We're also gonna cut out a little area right in here so it gets a little bit more of a ram air duct. Help that thing breathe a little bit better at speed. All those little tweaks make a real big difference in the overall performance, and that's what we do, all the little stuff.
You're gonna record something, I don't know if it's gonna work.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I don't think it's going to.
I know that thing's got, what, 2 ply at least?
Yeah. I'm trying with a smaller size first to make the hole, but should do a pick first.
So normally we'd drill this out, but I wanted to try this here.
Nope. Need something sharp.
So we make these thermal plates. These ones are actually for an LS3 or LSA based car. And these guys right here, but these are the LT4s, and that's what that is right there. That's an LT4 based car. They're about 3/8 of an inch, and they're made of a high temperature resistant nylon. If we can transmit less heat from the head to the blower, it's going to really help out that blower to make it a lot more efficient. Well, it's pretty hot here, and we're gonna keep the fans running, but simultaneously we're gonna be ripping these cars apart here. So Juan's on this guy right here. Liza's over here on this one right here.
So my little heating the barb fitting up worked after I used a pick to struck hole.
Nicely done. I actually missed how it went in. We were only going to get your failure one on there, so.
The 1/4 inch and then a 3/8 followed it.
So everybody that has an LS3, we really recommend removing that guy right there. It looks almost exactly the same, and it's nothing but a sound deadening thing, but it keeps a lot of heat on that intake manifold and really want to get away from that. Now also, on the same sentiment of dealing with the LS3 crate motor here, with retuning this, there's been many times that I've been able to pick up in excess of over 30 wheel horsepower over the tune that is from GM right there. Definitely worth retuning if you guys got an LS3, especially LS3 crate motor setup. You should be able to pick up some decent power. The fuel map is a little soft, definitely less than optimal, but it is very basic, and the timing curve, of course, is also pretty mild as well. So when you throw a colder spark plug in there, it allows me to be able to do a more aggressive tune, but yet safely.
And also, when you're doing a swap, they don't know what kind of exhaust you're going to have, what kind of cold air intake you're going to have, and all that can be optimized in the tune also. 100%.
And so what we've done here when we're talking about changing the PCV is that this was grabbing air that was not seen by the mass airflow. So this has vacuum on it. So this is the origin of vacuum. This draws through the crankcase, which is right here. So that will suck air out of there going into the crankcase. And what we're doing now is we're getting a sample point that is post mass air, and now it is seen in calculated air. That is a major concern as far as getting best drivability, best gas mileage. Tightening it all back up. Very simple, it's about 10 bolts. Very easy to get done. A couple minutes worth.
5 on this one.
Oh yeah, you got lucky. Yeah, that's right, he didn't have the back things right there. All right, well, Laz just got this all buttoned up, but small problem. We actually needed to do the throttle body. Awesome. So as we're sitting here talking.
Is there anything else? I thought it was ready to go.
No, he changed the plugs last night, so we're good to go. But yeah, we're actually going to show you guys how to port a throttle body on this. It'll be fun. So when we port these throttle bodies, we don't claim any power, but it does make it feel so much more throttle responsive through the bottom end and mid-range. Nothing like redo work. So while we're working on this car, this guy's like, hey, be nice with her, treat her good. It's got my whole life savings in it. I'm like looking at it and I'm like, yeah, I can see that. All right, so that may not look like much, but tell us what's going on there.
All right, so anytime the factory throttle body builds in a shroud on the top or bottom,
let's look at that real quick. Yep.
A raised little mountain profile.
Yep.
At part throttle, when you're just barely giving it gas to accelerate, it's ramping the airflow over one side of the blade, and you're not getting any airflow in the bottom.
Yeah, we're getting very little, very, very little.
So now it's going to manipulate your basically throttle position,
amplifying the throttle position at the lower part of the curve, which again, you know,
it's going to make it feel peppier.
It does. It's a big fun factor mod, and for a little bit of money for doing that, it's kind of like a hell yeah, let's throw that in there. So let's see what we're going to do here. Laz will port this thing up, and honestly, what, you probably have that thing done in 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's what the one last night was.
All right, so with our LT4, pretty interesting setup right here. The way that this works, the air comes up and then goes back down through the heat exchangers. A little bit different of a setup than the LSAs. The LSA would have it right here. The heat exchanger would be right here. Here, blow right through that and then down. But it's a much more nice compact blower right there. And that lid is from a 2017 on up. So this is a 2016 model, and he's put that on there with the assumption of some more power, when in fact it actually doesn't gain any more power. Well, while Juan is taking this thing apart, we're gonna go take a look at what Laz is doing, porting the throttle body, and I'm gonna also start working on writing the tunes for both of these cars. Yeah, we come over here with your Sigourney Weaver lights, or whatever the hell those things are. Anytime I see
my head's probably too fast, so they're probably pointing that way.
Yeah. All right, so we just loosened up the blower, and we're not in there totally correct yet. That boss right there needs to go through our thermal plate, so we're actually about a ½ inch there. All right, so we just slid that thermal plate in. Should be pretty close there. Then we start to put the bolts in. Is that side good? Yep.
All right. I'll go finish the throttle body with mine.
All right.
Back in the air-conditioned room, so that's kind of nice. Got this throttle body off the AMX, AMC, AMX. I'm going to take it. Main things we need to do is, ooh, where'd my Sharpie go? Take Thieves Sharpie. I'm going to mark the no-go areas. of inside. So everywhere that the blade actually sweeps from its outward position to its inward position, both top and bottom, I'll mark that, and I won't touch that with the cutting it or sanding it. I want that to be a factory airflow controlled area that's not going to get manipulated by any kind of cutting or anything. So I'm just going to mark everything, pull it apart, cut it out, and you'll see the rest. That finalizes the rough cut on everything. Basically, big aluma cut, non-ferrous bit. Cut everything out super quick, make a big mess. I'm gonna clean up, start sanding. All right, so that's everything that I can hit with the big cartridge roll to make fast work out of it. It also keeps you from getting any kind of waves when you're going through. Stay moving with it all the time. And now we're gonna switch to this side. Only a couple spots to hit with that. Now we go smaller. So I was able to get pretty close in all the corners around the shaft. Now I'm gonna go to the next 120 grit. Everything we've been using so far has been 80 grit. This, and even the big one. Alright guys, so I did the 120, went ahead and flap wheeled it, put a little bit of oil on there. And go outside and clean this thing up. You can see we have the factory finish still in the blade area, but our ramp is gone on both top and bottom. There it is. Alright. So that's the ported LS3 throttle body. It's gonna give this thing all the response that it needs. You should be happy with it.
Look at the interior of this thing. This is crazy. Love the cage. Everything is really nice and neat. All right, fellas, this is the base fuel map here in the GM LS3 crate engine right there. As you can see, it's got some humps and bumps. It's not the prettiest, cleanest overall map. You kind of feel this in the drivability. So we're going to go ahead and clean this up. I'm going to put in a map that I've done off of another LS3 that I've dyno tuned before, LS3 crate motor with the same cam setup. And that right there is what the map looks like when it's all cleaned up and has good drivability. I mean, there's still a couple little areas that are slight imperfections, but loads better as far as the transitions. I mean, basically when you see a smoother transition there, that is pretty much what the drivability should be like. This is effectively a fancy word for how well it fills the cylinder, and that is volumetric efficiency. So this is the base fuel map. Everything else is based upon that. All right, so another thing I wanted to share with you guys is that on all these ETC cars, which is electronic throttle control, they always have a lot of torque management. Pretty much everything now, late model, has lots and just loads of torque management. If we can do a couple different things to decrease that or eliminate it altogether, the bottom end mid-range throttle response is greatly increased, as well as the overall performance. This is an interesting algorithm right here. So this is a tip-in throttle rate limit here that does increase the bottom end mid-range throttle response. The maximum value is 1.0, so we went from 0.001 to 1.0. That dramatically changes how the throttle will respond right there. So that, and we have all these other torque limiters here. We're going to get rid of those. So I've got a base map here. I'm going to copy all this stuff over. Let's go take a look at it. Now all these are maxed out at 6,042. There's also some other things in there. There was like a wheel hop controller. Well, it doesn't have traction control, so we're going to get rid of that. There's a few other little odds and ends in there that have to do with how the timing responds on a quick change of throttle, as well as the fuel. But we're going to go ahead and address that. I just wanted to get your feet wet a little bit with what torque management is all about and how we do some things to address it. Laz got everything done on the AMX, and we're finally on the dyno getting ready to make some pulls on this thing. There is something about side pipes and a big cam. First pull was 429, 404. See it right there. However, with the side pipe, we're not really getting a good pickup, so I got to do some adjustment on that. And it looks like it's a little rich in one area and lean in another, but we'll figure that out here in a moment. Good.
Do that again.
Why'd you kill it? Dude.
This stinks. It smells roasty.
I'm gonna be honest, this makes me very nervous. I got this thing tightened like so crazy tight, but just still, if this thing gets hit and hits this beautiful car and ejects back there, it's not good for business. All right, after a couple pulls, we've been pretty steady, making about the same power. I've had a hard time getting a reading off the wideband, so I took the air fuel off of the side pipe and I put it straight in the collector right there. This thing has factory exhaust manifolds, so I can't tune the drivability at the same time as I'm tuning the wide open, which is totally fine, but I am getting an accurate reading, and I'm trying to clean up that mixture right now. I've been throwing some spark advance at it, and it has just incrementally picked up ever so slightly, but it doesn't look like there's going to be a lot of power on the table, but we are loads far and away, because again, I started from a base tune that I had already modified instead of the stock tune that was in there. All right, we got our HP tuners. Air temperature's about 100 degrees, coolant temp's about 203.
Snake fly out from under the hood, and it's missing a belt now. Made a little bit of difference when you moved the floor mat?
It did. I also tried to cramp my butt cheek by pushing so hard against it. So.
Well, you threw the belt off of it when you did it, so.
This should be a pretty enjoyable ride. It's a really, really nice car. It's been fun tuning it. Got some pretty good gains out of it. But there is definitely something about side pipes and a big cam.
That's right. Appreciate all the work you put into it.
All right, so every year right before FL2k, there's always a mad dash of everybody trying to get stuff done, and this is exactly that. So yesterday we were busy with a whole bunch of other cars as well. We got the interior all torn apart because the methanol wasn't quite working right. We just did some tweaks to it. I think we got it pretty darn close. So we're gonna be checking the air fuel on this, make sure everything is dialed in.
Right at the very top.
Whew. Getting close though, man. Making good power. All right, so we are on our 6th pull on this car here. We've made 739 horsepower and about 780 pound-feet of torque. Yeah, that's really annoying. We're trying to make sure that the methanol is working, so we got a little LED up here. Juan's been messing with some of the turn on, turn off point that is down there. Now let's go ahead and let this thing rip.
No 85 yet. So back kitty. Weep.
All right, so that pull was 750, 783. That's definitely our best pull. Hell, this thing's gonna be awesome on 85. We are drowning in meth right now though, so we got two 15-gallon-per-hour nozzles from alcohol control on here. And again, we're tuning all this through HP tuners, which is definitely the best way to go with this. It's a very, very, very complex car to tune, but we picked up a lot of bottom end and mid-range torque using some of the parameters that we had there in HP tuners. So we actually retarded the cam a little bit in some areas, and it picked up a whole bunch of power. So pretty pumped with that. I think we could probably throw E85 in it right now and see if we can make yet some more power. And we've got, I think we're like 55% E. So this should do a pretty good number right here. Now this is gonna be really close to Ben's car, but just, even if it makes similar power to Ben's car, that doesn't necessarily make it as fast as Ben's car, because it's all about how you use it in the track, but this car is gonna be very, very fast.
Goodness.
Good number.
What'd she read? I can't see.
785, 816. 785, 816. So that is like right there with what Ben's car did. So that is that's pretty nasty. All right, well, we got the end of the day here, and we're just finishing up this drivability on this car right now. We got to go find a good spot to go hit this at. The drag strip is a little wet at the moment. So we're gonna go to a little secret Mexico spot here, and we got to try this 4-5 shift. That's honestly an inherent problem with these cars, is trying to get that 4-5 shift. It's a different gearing on this 8-speed transmission than it is on the other, so you can a lot of times hear it as they're going down the road or going down the track. It's a little odd, but it's the biggest challenge, especially when you're making over 800 pound-feet of torque. Well, guys, thanks for coming and hanging out with us, Fasterproms. This has been a lot of fun. These cars were honestly a blast to tune. I had a great time absolutely transforming from what they came in as and to what they left at. I mean, that CTSV is really about a 960 capable car. It is going to be pretty rowdy. Hopefully you can execute that with some good drag radials at FL2k. We'll have to stay tuned for that. Been doing really good here at our shop, and just because we're not producing stuff on YouTube doesn't mean that we're not doing well. I gotta confess, when I lost about 7 videos worth of stuff, it definitely put me in a dark place for a while, because that could be, you know, 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks worth of videos, and there was a lot of obligations that I had there. I was pretty devastated, but by the grace of God, I got some of those back. So since the beginning of the recording of this, I actually managed to save about 3 or 4 of those videos. But we've been absolutely cranking some stuff out here, and if I'm not doing as good on YouTube, I might as well concentrate on my efforts where we're going to do pretty good. So really, really happy with that. If you guys have seen Brent's video recently, Brent and Jamie are down here. That is going to be so much fun in the future. Honestly, some of the best guys in the game, and they're what you see is what you get. If you guys want to show some support for Fasterproms, please check out our store. Anything that you guys buy directly helps us. Also, you can check out our Instagram, though. Check out @Fasterproms. We're posting some stuff for sale. We've been liquidating a whole lot of stuff around the shop. You guys can get some great deals on some parts. So, God bless you guys. I'm going to leave you here with a meme, and I actually need to find a song for you, which I was not prepared for. So the song I'm going to recommend is Finish Line by Skillet. Hope you guys enjoy, and we're doing meme warfare here, gentlemen.